Good evening, visitors, and welcome to the Australian War Memorial's last post ceremony. My name is Gerard Pratt, and joining us today from the Royal Australian Air Force is Flight Lieutenant Nathan Nguyen. We welcome the veterans who have served, those that are still serving, and the families that love and support them. The live stream of this ceremony is made possible by the Returned and Services League of Australia and the RSL and Services Clubs Association. We welcome members who are watching the broadcast of this ceremony from across Australia. During this evening's ceremony, wreaths will be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection by visitors to the memorial and students on behalf of Hornsby North Public School from Hornsby in New South Wales. If you're able, please stand and join in singing the National Anthem.
Australians, oh let us rejoice, for we are one and free. We've golden soil and wealth for toil, our home is got by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains then let us sing, advance Australia fair.
If able, please be seated. The Australian War Memorial was the vision of Charles Bean, Australia's First World War official historian. Bean landed with the Australian troops at Gallipoli, and we remained with them at the front through until the end of the war. The idea of this national memorial and museum came to him at Pozières, France, in the depths of the bloody fighting of 1916. Bean's idea was that this would be a place where families and friends could mourn loved ones buried in faraway places. It would also be a place that could help all Australians understand what these men and women had endured and what they had done for us. Bean's vision, to which we remain true, is best expressed as inscribed in the entrance to the memorial's galleries. Here is their spirit, in the heart of the land they loved, and here we guard the record which they themselves made. Tonight, we will read the story behind just one of those listed on the Roll of Honour, which lists the names of more than 103,000 men and women who have given their lives for us in war and on operations for more than a century. But first, we present a lament, Flowers of the Forest. Wreaths or floral tributes will now be laid at the base of the Pool of Reflection.
Today we remember and pay tribute to Private Reuben Woodward Pershouse. Reuben Pershouse was born on the 27th of July, 1887 in Gladstone, Queensland. Known as Ben, he was the second eldest of 5 children born to grazier Alfred Pershouse and his wife Sarah. Reuben received his early education at the nearby Baffle Creek State School and helped to run the family property Hopewell, where he worked as a labourer and cattle driver. Reuben Pershouse enlisted in the Australian Imperial Force on the 16th of June 1915. He was assigned to the 26th Battalion and began a short period of training in Australia before embarking for active service in August, sailing from Brisbane on board the troop ship Kiara. After several weeks at sea, Private Pershouse arrived in Egypt. The campaign at Gallipoli had been abandoned and troops were being evacuated from the peninsula. Pershouse joined his comrades in the 26th Battalion in January 1916 and continued training for a further 2 months. In March, he and his new comrades embarked for France, undertaking a week-long voyage to reach the city of Marseille. On arrival, Pershouse and his comrades were immediately sent north to the Franco-Belgian border, which had seen heavy fighting since the beginning of the war. Pershouse and his comrades were introduced to life on the Western Front, undertaking short periods in the trenches as well as undertaking training and maintenance tasks. His first experience of battle took place on the 6th of June 1916 when the 26th and 28th Battalions mounted the first trench raid undertaken by Australian troops on the Western Front. On the 1st of July 1916, the Battle of the Somme began and Pershouse's unit was moved south to the village of Pozières. It was here that he took part in his first major battle of the war. The 26th Battalion began its advance on the night of the 28th of July. Suspecting an attack, the enemy fired flares, which illuminated the men as they moved forward. Soon after, they came under heavy rifle and machine gun fire, causing multiple casualties and confusion. Many men of the battalion veered too far left as they advanced, eventually reaching the enemy front lines where they were met with lengths of uncut wire entanglements and strongly defended trenches. Those who made it that far began to dig in when they were ordered to withdraw some 300 yards from their initial objective. The failed advance had cost the 26th Battalion nearly 200 casualties in just a few hours of fighting. Among the dead was Private Reuben Pershouse. One of his comrades wrote to Pershouse's mother, "I very much regret to tell you that your son Ben has been killed." He only lived about a minute after struck by a piece of shell. His last thoughts were of you, and the very last words he spoke were, "Oh, Tom, write and tell mother for me, will you?" The words were addressed to Tom Hendricks, but he too was dead. It might be of some comfort to you to know that he felt no pain whatever. I cannot tell you how sorry I, all his comrades in his section are for you and him and his father in your great sorrow. He was a favourite of all the boys and was always so willing to give a hand when anything wanted doing. He was always pleasant and smiling, however bad things were with him in the trenches. Private Pershouse's final resting place was lost during subsequent fighting around Pozières. Today is commemorated on the Australian National Memorial at Villers-Bretonneux, among more than 10,000 others who have no known grave. Reuben Pershouse was 29 years old. His name is listed on the Roll of Honour on my right among almost 62,000 Australians who died while serving in the First World War. His photograph is displayed today beside the pool of reflection. This is but one of the many stories of service and sacrifice told here at the Australian War Memorial. We now remember Private Reuben Woodward Pershouse, who gave his life for us, for our freedoms, and in the hope of a better world.
If able, please stand for the reading of the ode and the sounding of the last post.
They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
We will remember them.
Lest we forget.
Lest we forget. We leave you this evening with the words of the memorial's founder, Charles Bean. Many a man lying out there at Pozieres, or in the low scrub at Gallipoli, with his poor, tired senses barely working through the fever of his brain, has thought in his last moments, well, it's over. But in Australia, they will be proud of this. Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, that concludes the last post ceremony. On behalf of the Director, staff and volunteers, thank you for visiting the Australian War Memorial today and for your continued support of the Memorial's development project. We wish you all a very pleasant evening. Thank you.